Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you books that I'm scared to reread, and this is likely due to I know you really enjoy a book in the moment, but does it really stand up to the test of time in how you feel about it? Do you think you've grown out of that book? Was that something that just meant a lot of you at the time, but really if you read that now you wouldn't like it? And I think that's always a fear with rereading books and why I've been hesitant to do so, but I've been rereading books more often now, and I find that I've enjoyed them just as much or sometimes even more than I did the first time. So that is always that's always something to really look forward to with rereading books. But there is also the fear of will I love this? Does this book stand the test of time in my memory? So there's always that fear. So these are the books, most of them are series actually, that I loved when I first read them, but I'm scared to read them now. So without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, this was a series that really got me into kind of crime murder mysteries, and it is the Rezzoli and Isles series by Tess Gerritsen. I really love this series. I started reading it in high school and I read it all throughout university until the last book came out a couple of years ago, and I love this series. This is definitely one that I want to marathon, but I'm also scared too. I'm what if I don't like it as much as I really loved it? Because this book really helped me in high school when I was going through some health complications, and I would read this. I'd read a book a week basically, and my mom would pick me up on Friday and we'd walk into town and go to the bookstore and I would get the next one. So I have this book series in general means a lot to me, so I'm very scared that it if I were to reread them again, I would be I wouldn't like them as much. The good thing is it's been so long that I don't remember who the murderer is for a lot of these, so it'd be rereading them for the first time, but I'm still scared that it will just not hold up to time. But I feel it should be okay, because I did enjoy the later series that came out or the later books that came out towards kind of the end of the 2010s, but nevertheless I'm still really nervous to pick this one up again because I don't know, it just means so much to me. This is a series that I read in high school and I was obsessed with it. I remember one time me and my mom, I did scuba diving when I was younger, and we were out on kind of out of the state doing some training, and we were at a hotel, and I basically told my mom the whole synopsis of this series, and then I fell asleep. So I was really obsessed with this, and I'm just nervous that I wouldn't like it again. I don't know if it was just something that was meant a lot to me in that moment that I really enjoyed, but I don't know. And it is the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba, Bray. I love this. When I read it in high school, I remember when I had the book with me, I would read it before class, and a couple people were oh, I really love that series too. So I think I don't know, it's honestly been so long too that I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember really enjoying it. I loved the Victorian setting and all that, but I'm just really scared because it's been honestly so long that I'm have I just changed? Has my reading preferences changed? I don't know, but I have become more kind of active in reading fantasy over these past few years, so maybe I will enjoy it. I know Reagan from Peru's Project tried to reread this and she didn't end up liking it as much as the first time around, or maybe she was reading it for the first time. I don't remember, but I'm just nervous. But I don't know, probably one day I will pick this one up and reread this trilogy because I honestly really loved it. So this is a series that I'm honestly terrified to reread, but me and my friend will be rereading this whole series in the summertime, which I think is the perfect time to read it, but nevertheless I'm still scared. And it is the Gallagher Girls series by Ali Carter. I love this series. I read the last book when it came out, I think in my first year of university, so it's been a long time since I read these. I remember reading these obsessively. I read them several times. I loved this series so much, so I'm just scared, especially because this is a middle grade, and there's nothing wrong with middle grade, it's just I find it very hard to relate to the characters and just kind of the stuff that are very much the end of the world for people when they're younger, are just kind of very minuscule problems for adults. So I don't know. We are going to be rereading this over the summer, but I'm still terrified. I don't know. I loved it so much, and it gets really complex. It's like Harry Potter, where the first few books are when they're like kid stories, and then they can progressively get like darker and more complex and introduce more kind of complex themes. So I'm hoping that will be like this for me. I'm just really honestly super nervous, but I think it'll be okay. I'm just reading middle grade now is something I'm like, it's not really my thing. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm like very hesitant. So this is a book that meant a lot to me. It was my escape when my grandmother passed away. This was the book that I picked up right after it, and it really provided me with that escape that I needed. But I'm just really worried if this book, like if I read it now, like would it mean as much to me when I first read it, or was it just the sign of like just my circumstances? And it is The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. I adored this book when I read it, and I definitely want to reread it soon, but I'm still hesitant. Like just because this book meant so much to me and it still means so much to me, I'm like, what if it doesn't live up in my mind as how much I built it up in my mind? Like, does it like stand that test of like just how I've built it up in my mind? So I'm very, very worried. I don't know. I definitely want to pick this up because I loved it so much. But yeah, I'm still very, very nervous, and it deals with everything that I love, like World War I, World War II, dual storylines. Like, I really loved it. It covered like all the bases on like historical fiction that I love, but I'm still just super, super nervous. And lastly, I had The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton, and this is a book that I'm definitely nervous about. It's between this and The Forgotten Garden because these two are my favorites of this author's work, and I'm just really super nervous. I think like I remember like these books are kind of dense in terms of like it's more narration than dialogue, so it takes a while to get through these. But I remember like in the summer when I discovered Kate Morton, like I read through all of these. Like I literally would sit outside the entire day during the summer and just read them. So I don't know if it was just like something that I really enjoyed in the moment, but I'm just really nervous still that I'm like, oh, because I really want to reread like The Forgotten Garden and like this one, like these two are my favorites. So but I'm still nervous. Like her books, I've loved all her books, like even like The Clockmaker's Daughter that came out 2 years ago, a year ago, a couple years ago, but I still like enjoyed it. I'm just worried that the favorites of mine won't be my favorites anymore. So I don't know. Maybe because I know what happens, maybe I'll pick up on the subtle clues that are like dropped throughout it, so maybe I'll enjoy that more because I'll kind of know in hindsight, and then I can pick up on some of the clues that the author left throughout. But I'm still really, really nervous to read this and The Forgotten Garden because I loved them so much, and it was just like, oh my goodness, like it's very much a fear of mine. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what books you are scared to reread and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.